This is AC Starlord, aka Awesome. Welcome back to my channel. And you see behind me, you see me, behind me, you see a beach behind me. And this is not some ordinary beach that you can see in the world. Or, I mean, it is an actual beach you can see in the world, but it's not any ordinary beach that you can see outside, like in Galveston, where I'm from, Texas, or California, or Florida. It's a special type of beach. It's the Jaws Beach. So this is a review for the 50th anniversary of Jaws. Now, Jaws has a meaning, different types of meaning for different type of people, but this movie was fantastic on the big screen because Steven Spielberg, the man who directed a man who directed this, written it, produced it, all that stuff, but especially directed this, right? He was 27 years old when he made this film, and things didn't, and the filming went some filming went right, I mean, some filming went good, and some filming didn't go good with Bruce the Shark. Now, when he said that instantly in my head, and I was with my group of my friends from high school and some of that, I automatically told him at the end of the movie, I automatically thought of Lilo. I mean, not Lilo. No, I mean, not Lilo, but I'm automatically thought of Finding Nemo because the shark's name, the big giant white shark is the big great white shark is named Bruce. Now, my other friend responded, "That's probably just a small little referencing that, and it might be because Jaws is one of the greatest movies out there and one of the best movies I've ever seen in cinema history. It's one of my top favorites. I mean, you have Spider-Man up there. I mean, I know should put Jaws up there, but Spider-Man's up there and some other ones, but Jaws is still up there. Like you have Spider-Man, Tron, and Jaws, and then Back to the Future and all stuff like that. But like you have so many great films from this man. But this is one of the greatest, this is one of the films that everyone relates to because some people were afraid to go on the beaches, some people were afraid to go in the pools. Everyone has different experiences. They either say my dad showed me this or my mom did. For me, I think it was either my dad that showed me this. And for my friend, the two friends I went there, he told me that this is the first this is the first movie he watched with my friend Juan, and this is the first movie they watched together. And that's actually saying a lot. When you come to the theater and going to see the 50th anniversary, and me being a tribute to that, me giving him getting him a ticket because right now he's just doing it. No, I'm not gonna get into the details on that, but just being a friend. And then my other friend told me that, oh, well, we saw this movie together. That only makes it even more special. That's the reason why, hey, there's two tickets. One ticket's me and one ticket's you. That only makes it even more special. Um, Before that, I had a friend call, another friend called me. He's like, it's not my only time seeing this on in theaters. Well, I was like, this is my first time. So the first time like showing experience of this, that's amazing. And for all of us in that group of friends, this was the first time seeing this on the big screen, seeing it in a 4K format, which also at the very beginning of this of Steven Spielberg said this was in 4K standard and I think 3D and 4K. The whole thing is in 4K. And even if you have Regal or even I think still at Cinemark, if you have D-Box, it's in 4K. So this is a 4K resolution of the first of your film from 1975. And I have, like I showed you in my other video, I have a Blu-ray of it looking like a VHS tape, uh, showcase cover. So, or a showcase, or what they also call it, a clam case, cover. I mean, box. But this movie, just in general, they changed some things like the gun sounds. They changed the gun sound, actually sound like a real gun. Um, Not that it was a big difference or anything like that, but when you watch it from the original audio, watch the original movie from the original audio, it sounds like it was, you know, something that they had to come up with on the spot at that time. But this is actually a real, sounds like a real gunshot. This movie's usually not that scary. And when I was watching this with my friends and stuff, and then my other friend brought one of his friends from work, we're all sitting there watching it, right? This movie's not that scary. This movie's supposed to be a little bit suspenseful because there's a shark in the water, and you know there's a shark in the water, and bro, Sheriff Brody knows there's a shark in the water, and all these other people that in this drawing behind me don't know there's a shark in the water until they see someone literally in that one scene, that kid get the dog going missing, and um the kid getting eaten by the shark, and the lady later on not slaps Chef Brody in the face because she found out she knew that he knew that there was a girl that uh got eaten by a shark, like getting eaten by that same shark in the very beginning of the movie, and then now her boy eaten by a shark. But what I'm trying to go back to my original standpoint of what I'm saying is, there's one scene where they're going to investigate Sheriff Brody and the scientist they brought in investigating, and he goes down deep down into the water, and Sheriff Brody recognizes a boat that of one of the people from the town's boat, and then he's like, the scientist wants down there to see if there's anyone down there or check anything as you know, just checking in general, do a service check for it. And then when he was checking, he was looking, and then there's a hole in the on the boat on the water, and a head starts coming out. Now it normally would that wouldn't be a jump scare for normally if you've seen it so many times, and you've seen it so many times, the thousands of times over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. But me seeing it for the very first time for a very long time, like I did with Ninja Turtles, I haven't watched Ninja Turtles, that exact Ninja Turtles that I watched in theaters for I haven't seen that in a very long time, and I still remember some of the lines of that, like "damn" and never pay for late pizza and stuff like that. I know those lines, but I know those lines by heart because I saw that so many times, but I haven't watched it in a while. But I still didn't haven't watched it in a while, but I knew those lines. But in this scene, in this movie, I haven't seen this movie in a while. Even like I said, even though I own it, I haven't seen it in a while. And the thing is, it literally had a jump scare. It literally jump scared me, and it scared me to almost have the death scene. A body float out of the boat, and then like when we got out of the movie, we all said, "Oh yeah, that kind of scared us because you know." My friend Christian's like, yeah, like Steven Spielberg, that was he also had some hand in horror, but like you could tell in horror directors like that, I mean directors that do horror so that they built on the craft and all stuff like that, but they're doing it something that you're not least expecting. And I wasn't least expecting that, and we all weren't least expecting that. Not just me, but all of them weren't expecting it. Well, all the people that are sitting within the group weren't expecting that head and that body coming out. Now if you've seen this countless times in theaters when they had re-release, because I was watching a video before watching that in the day yesterday, and his name is Chris Stuckman. He's seen it in different formats in theaters for the anniversaries, and it keeps and Jaws is, I think, from what I got from his video, Jaws is the only movie that's always keep on re-releasing on its anniversary. So, but this is my first time. This is our first time, my group of friends, first time seeing it in theaters on its anniversary. But you've seen it countless times in theaters. You're expecting that head slash body coming out of that boat, but I wasn't expecting it, and that was a legit jump scare. That's the very first ever jump scare that like literally got me jumping out of my seat in a movie theater. Every other movie that's supposed to be scary doesn't, or have go seen like weapons and all stuff like. There's not that much jump scares or not much of a scared, worried feeling coming vibrating through my body than when I saw a head coming out of a boat. Michael Myers, like an example, at the end of the same conversation when we got out, I said the same thing to Michael Myers. Like Michael Myers does the same thing, but I mean, I've seen Halloween several times, but in Halloween, you're expecting him with a knife coming out of nowhere. But like, even my friend Christian's like, yeah, like Michael Myers is also one of those things. Like you're expecting that dude to be by a bush or here and here, but that's the thing. This just jump scare in this movie of a boat just legitly was unannounced. And that's what you're expecting in old films like this. It's unannounced and you don't even think about it. Today, people think about those things. Also, the simple fact, also one of my favorite scenes, I always thought, I mean, I want to get into other things, but my other favorite thing in this film was when they're on the boat and they're actually trying to kill Jaws, and the big giant great white. And Sh- uh, Sheriff Brody is um, scooping out Chum, and he's like, "You want to scoop out this shit?" Because they have a conversation on the boat, like, "Would I'd rather be doing this? I'd rather be doing what you're doing. Would you rather be scooping up shit?" And comes out. Jaws comes out of the water, and his eyes looking straight at his eyes looking his side of his head and his eyes looking straight at Sheriff Brody, and that scene always gets me. Now that's not a jump scare. It just always gets me when I see it when I saw it on TV, Blu I mean I watched it on Blu-ray, but TV, VHS, TV, Blu-ray. Eventually we'll watch this again on Blu-ray because why not? I mean, at some point. Not right now, but at some point. Um, but that scene always gets me when the Jaws comes up and the chum is there, but the Jaws head comes up and then he goes for the Titan and goes around the boat like Godzilla kind of the way. And yeah, and then he looks at the shark and it goes, you know what I mean? That gets me too. Um, the last half of the movie is my favorite parts of the movie because the rest of it is just them trying to figure out uh them having conversations trying to figure out how to get this shark, how to get Jaws, how to either kill it or preserve it. I mean, not kill it, either kill it and preserve it, or how to keep it alive and then kill it when it gets closer to where they want to go, get closer to the town to show people that we got the great white shark, right? That never happens. The shark blows up at the very end of the movie. Of course, obviously, you should know that if you've seen this, but it's just my favorite scenes are the last parts of the movie. Even the scene where they're talking about their battle scars. My friend told me, same friend Christian told me, and even Juan knew about it, but I didn't know about this, which is a good detail to know about this because it's a 50th anniversary, good thing to know that the captain of the boat was drunk that on set that whole day, and he knew that he was drunk. He knew he was drunk on the set all day, and he knew he was going to film that scene, and he just, I guess it was drunk, either read the lines or improved it, but it made it more. And when he told me that, it does make it more chilling and more, impactful of that scene because the other guys weren't drunk, he was, so that makes more sense, and that's a good detail to learn about that, and even the extra stuff um, that Steven Spielberg said, even Bruce the shark wasn't working half the time. Bruce the shark, they called the Great White in there. Well, he called it on set. Bruce wasn't working sometimes, so sometimes they were had to have scenes that might have been like I guess there was one scene where the fishermen were trying to get the shark and have that roast and they dragged the dock. I don't know if that's actually the mechanical shark or that was just them rigging something up pretending it was because some of the scenes of the shark wasn't late. I mean, even when the boy get eaten, you would think that you would see the shark, right? And at least in that scene in the shallow water when the boy gets eaten and the disappears. So some of the scenes where they're kind of hinting that there's a shark there and it's kind of supposed to be suspenseful and all that stuff. Then I think those are the scenes that had the complications of the shark not working. Now, that's just me saying that, but I think that's what that is. Because at the very last of the movie, you see, obviously, you see more of Jaws. Now, they do have a sequel, which you see a lot more of the shark and attacks, and then you have Revenge and you have the 3D of Revenge, but you see a lot more of the shark. But the first one's always going to be iconic, and you're going to see the shark towards the end, and the complications they probably have with the shark in those small little scenes. I'm pretty sure Steven Spielberg meant to have those scenes there, but I mean have that shark in that scene, but Bruce wasn't working in those days. That's just my theory, but the simple fact that he was 27, made this movie, and one of his first films, it's just iconic and amazing. Now, seen on the big screen is also iconic and amazing. Like there was a lady sitting right next to Christian. I saw that when she was 14 years old. In 1975, 14 years old, and you're probably either scared to go in the water, certain things of water like pools or beaches or whatnot, or just being 14 years old and seeing that in theaters and then coming back um, for the 50th anniversary a little bit, a couple of years later, and you're later in your life, that you're not 14 years old, and you're going back to Cinemark and Katie watching it again. When you're a little bit older woman, it's a little bit different kind of, oh, I was 14 years old sitting here watching this back then. Now I'm back here as an older adult watching this and having the same joy that I had when I was 14 years old, than watching this brand new now. Now, also for there was younger teenagers in there. They got to experience this for the very first time, and they have the enjoyment of seeing this, not just because it's the 30, I mean, not because it's just a 50th anniversary, just because someone in the family said, we're watching this, it's 50th anniversary. Also, you've never seen Jaws, but see Jaws and let's have a wonderful experience. This is what this movie does. Now, every movie does this type of thing. Everyone has a certain movie that brings them a special, okay, brings brings a special warming um feeling in their heart, and they had the experience, they had to have other people experience it with them or show this other movie to other people to experience it with them. But Jaws is one of them, of course. Back to the Future is one of them, for sure. Even Steven Spielberg had a producing credit on that because we looked it up later. Um, E.T. is one of them. What else? Rocky's one of them. Uh, Batman with Michael Keaton's one of them, which has also got really released. I can go on and go on and go on for the certain movies that people got to go see, and also show other younger generations or show people from your family that haven't seen it, that are coming into the family, that need to see these movies because they're movies that warmed your heart and you want to experience that with them. But even saw some younger people in there, and that's probably their first time seeing this. For me, I've seen this movie countless times, but also shown from a parent. But this is my first time seeing it in theaters, and theater experience is so much better and different than watching it on the simple Blu-ray or on TV or VHS. And there's nothing wrong with watching a VHS or a Blu-ray or TV when you only had those avenues to go to back then, or even now when I have the actual physical copy of it. But this is so much better. This is so much better seeing it back on the big screen. I even got a popcorn tin. It's popcorn tin. And even the popcorn tin says, um, even the popcorn says, "Blockbuster of the summer." Um, it says, "Come back to see the blockbuster of the summer" or something like that. But it says the blockbuster. It says the summer blockbuster. This was a summer blockbuster. It was when it first came out. It was a summer blockbuster, and it probably was still one of the biggest summer blockbuster movies of that time when it came out. So the thing is, even the popcorn tin said that, even had quotes from it, and it's just a popcorn tin. The popcorn tin is like basically the scene where they put the guy in the cage. Now I had to go to the restroom on that scene, but I already seen the movie, so I kind of know what's happening. The shark gets to him, shark finds him, he rattles him up, and he disappears in the water. And then you get those scenes where Captain Quinn dies, and then you have Chef Brody say, "Son of a bitch," like so. I didn't miss too much of it because I've seen this movie countless times. So this is just how these things run off to. And again, movies like Naked Gun, having a remake of Naked Gun, but you also see Naked Gun and you're like original, like, oh, okay, let's see what the original, let's see what the remake does with Naked, let's see what the original does, and then let's see what they do with the remake. Now, if they ever remake Jaws, because they already have Jaws 1, 2, 3, and Revenge of Jaws, and honestly, I thought Meg was going to be kind of like a remake of Jaws, Meg 1 and Meg 2, but that was just a big giant shark, Megalodon shark that kind of copied and paste and copied and paste and copied and paste and kind of cookie cuttered some things from Jaws and they put it in Meg. Because the first Meg you can kind of see the stuff that they copied, paste, and cookie cuttered in Meg. The second one, the second one was a little bit different. They did some different, but I still don't have the second one on Blu-ray, but I need to get that one too. But you get my point. The first Meg, which the reason why I had the first Meg was because it reminded me a lot of Jaws, and Jaws was the very first ever shark movie that I've ever seen that was like nothing else I've seen before. And then Meg comes along, and then I can see some of the stuff they copied, paste, cookie cut it out, put all those together, put all those together. Let's make Meg, right? Let's make Meg and make this seem like the modern day Jaws. And it was. Only made two movies, but it was modern day Jaws for sure. But nothing can beat Jaws. That's the whole thing I'm saying. Whole thing I'm trying to say. But if they ever do, what I also was trying to say in this comment, if they ever do reboot Jaws, they need to do a better, I mean, not better job, they need to do so much, so much work to make it even better than the predecessor, the better than their older cousin or their older brother, because right now the older brother and the older cousin are holding the candle and holding the flame, and even Meg couldn't hold up to the candle and the flame because everyone's gonna go back to Jaws more than, hey, you see that Meg movie with Jason Statham? Yeah, I mean it kind of like Jaws, but nothing can be like Jaws. But what I'm saying is if they do a reboot or what they did with the treatment, what they did with Naked Gun, and they try to do something new with Jaws or make an all new Jaws, Big Brother or Big Cousin or whatever you want to call it is holding that flame up and holding that candle up. And the original Jaws says, I hope you can do better. I hope you can do something more impactful what I have done because I have so many anniversaries. I had a 70 I had a 75th anniversary. I just celebrated my 50th anniversary. I'm going for my 60th anniversary. I'm going for my 70th anniversary. I'm going for my 80th and my 90th. So you have to beat me, right? But I don't think no one's ever going to do that. But if they did, boom, you have to hold a higher standard than what this one has made, what this one has done. And this movie's gonna make money this weekend, of course. You put it out there in Labor Day weekend, this movie's gonna make money, make bank because of the simple fact that it's Jaws and everyone loves Jaws. The only reason why I mentioned Meg in this, just for temporary, because Meg was also another type of Jaws and it reminded me of Jaws when I first saw the first Meg movie. But nothing can stand up to Jaws. Nothing. Now, as its own, and I'm about to close this up, as its own franchise though, Jaws 2, Jaws 1 and 2 can beat out, I can't say it's beat out Revenge because Revenge is leads into 2 and you know Revenge is not bad, but Jaws 1 and 2, because they people praised 1 and 2, and people praised 1 more than 2, but 1 and 2 can beat Jaws 3 and Revenge. But people had problems with Jaws 3 and Revenge, so me, I didn't like Jaws 3. I never saw Revenge, but Jaws 3, the first two could beat out Jaws 3. In its own franchise, you have 2 and 1 outbeating the other two. So there's that. But Jaws is just how we see our lives. If we don't have this movie in our lives, or one of them, then if we don't have one of these movies, we will have Back to the Future, we will have E.T., we'll have all these other classics. But if we didn't have Jaws in this world, what would we be? And what would we do? Jaws needs to be made, and Jaws, I'm glad it is made, because I wouldn't be talking about it. I wouldn't even be putting my mouth into words about it and have word of mouth about it. But most people know about Jaws, even if you're not a big movie buff like I am, or a big movie sweaty, as my other friend will put it. But if you're not a big movie buff, even if you're not a big movie buff and you know about Jaws, you know about Jaws. Simple as that, you know about Jaws. I even had a talking to one friend of mine that didn't know nothing about Jaws. She had to look that up. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but that person's not a big movie person. But if you're not a big movie person, I get it. You have to look this up, because honestly, if I said, "Oh, I'm doing a video for Jaws," what is Jaws? And what is this? Like, is this a new movie coming out, or is this an old movie? And then when you do your own research on it, you know this movie was made in 1975, and so the other sequels were made in around that time period or close to it. And you'll be like, "Oh, okay, it spawned out to other franchises. It spawned out other movies in the franchise." You get my point. Like, someone that has to look this up has learned something about it, right? They know now it's Steven Spielberg. They know now this movie was important to most people. They know now that this is a big deal. But again, if you're a movie person like I am and some other people I went with last night, we know about Jaws, and we've been knowing about Jaws, and we love celebrating about Jaws, and we love talking about Jaws when we have the chance, or love talking about other movies that inspired in that era of the 1970s or the 70s. Simply let's call it, or the 70s, and then it leads into the 80s, and it leads into the 90s, and then it leads into the early 2000s, and then it leads into where we are now. Now, not a lot of people talk about movies that have been made like this. Nobody talks about old movies that much anymore. And that's why I'm glad these re-releases are out. And this is about to be over. This video is about to be over, but that's what I love about these re-releases of Batman and Ninja Turtles and even this and even Casper and Apollo 13, because it keeps the ball moving. Even they're going to do uh, Back to the Future, which I saw the 35th anniversary in theaters, but they're going to a 75th anniversary of Back to the Future, put it back in IMAX and theaters. So let's keep getting these old movies re-released, and let's put these in theaters. Let's get these movies back in theaters and have people for this newer generation seeing them and having them talk about it, and have a resurgence of people talking about these things again and talking about these old films, because I love talking about old films, new films, films from the 70s, 60s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. But movies I love talking about more are the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, because those are the movies that made those movies are made the movies that we're making today or seeing today, being inspired by other artists. So again, if you like this video, put a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Go see Jaws in its 50th anniversary in theaters. You will enjoy it. You will love it. Go see it and go see it at Cinemark. Go see it in AMC. Go see it at Regal. Go see it at Animal Draft House. Go see it where you can see it. And if you don't want to go to the movie theater, and not that type of person that wants to see it in the movie theater, go find it on physical. Go find it on physical somewhere online, and then wait for it to come to your house. Or if it's already there, go watch it. Or go find it somewhere on any streaming service that might have it and watch it. Because you can celebrate the 50th anniversary of Jaws anywhere and everywhere. You don't have to go. And I'm reason why I'm saying go and see in theaters because you have a. I was about to say don't, but the reason why I'm saying go see in theaters because you have a better experience. But if you don't, and you already have the physical, or you are don't want to go and you're lazy that day, and you don't want to go theaters, and you want to look it up somewhere that's playing digitally, somewhere, any platform, you can celebrate at home too. You can celebrate the 50th anniversary at home and still have the same experience and still have the same fun experience that everyone else is having in theaters if you're that person that doesn't want to leave their house. But if you're a person that wants to leave their house, go check it out in theaters. Please go check it out in theaters. Go see it. Pretend it's a new movie and pretend that you're seeing this for the very first time if you've seen it so many times. That's what I did. I've seen this movie so many times, but I haven't seen it in a while. And even my other friend Christian's like, yeah, I didn't rewatch it for purpose because of we're going to go all see it together. Now, he's probably a person that's seen it, rewatched it so many times in different formats. Same here. I just don't think of what like watching Jaws automatically when I have so many other movies I haven't even watched. I have some movies in my collection I haven't even watched yet. So again, if you like this video, put a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and deuces. I'm waiting for Casper to come out and waiting for new stuff. I might go see somewhere this weekend, maybe see Toxic Avenger, and I might be back on here, but I don't know yet if I'm going to see it. But I don't have to rush and go see that movie, and there might be some new movies here, but right now it's a release, so there we go. So peace out.